This rain.
Oh, I don't know, who brought that?
Needs crying rain. They just said, I think they just said it.
It's all right, it's sealed. So, no, so that's why I got it.
So you don't need to blow your nose?
No, my nose is not like.
You want to hear a funny story? This morning, one guy goes, hey,
Close on
we
the
got
house.
to fix that road on 65, something like we had to
They did,
30 minutes later, guy walks in, he goes, when are you gonna get over there and fix that road? And I'm like,
trucking
well, your buddy said they fixed the 6 o'clock last night. He goes, what?
27-foot trailers.
I go, well, you and your fixing for something
Yeah, he got
that's been fixed.
Yeah, I got the grader stuff down
Did he?
They hired some people to
I'm like,
load it. You know, you did all the boxing.
one guy said they fixed it late yesterday, the other guy comes
They
in,
load
hey,
it.
that road was washed out yesterday, did you go after 5 o'clock and look at it?
Drop them.
Well, your neighbor said it all got fixed.
They had a quote.
Well, it got passable, let's just put it that way.
I told him it wasn't gonna be perfect, but
And then
until the next rain.
the week before, they raised it to 25,000. And then they went to 15,000.
Not supposed to get much there.
They used to government pay that bill.
The government does,
I'm so frustrated. I
5 more days.
got a swimming pool that's overflowing, I put more chemicals in it, the rain thins it out.
I think
It's never gone to 80 degrees because of the weather.
out of pocket with everything.
Summer will be over, I'll be draining before it ever gets the temperature.
By the time you pay the movers and the boxes and these two trailers.
Making my own heating seat, sticking it in.
Did they do it off weight? I didn't realize.
Yeah, they do it on the way. I think they call it, they used to call it a heating loop.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, where you basically,
If it causes a turbulence right
instead
there,
of
it
you
can be
doing it,
done
you do
to the
it
road.
yourself or whatever, and you actually weigh, you have to weigh the truck before, the trailer before, and then weigh them after you load them.
And then they withhold taxes. Yeah.
For what?
So it all worked out.
So that's new construction area out there? New construction area?
No.
At this time, we'll call the regular county commission meeting to order, serve private forum, concerns on approval of minutes and payment of the bill.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Now what?
One opioid request for training today.
What is that? Oh, we do have an opioid.
Is that for K9?
Nope. Training for code enforcement.
That was cheap, $99. I like $99 ones.
500.
I haven't seen the 99. Yes, I'm wearing my glasses. Come on up. Here's the next contestant.
He's on the other side.
If we need them, no, I don't know, depends on
I
how
like
the commission
it.
reacts.
You need to buy you a notebook.
That's good right here. This is the third briefing I've given this morning off this little thing here. I had it on my phone, but I think people look at you crazy when you're looking at your phone while you're trying to talk. So anyway, appreciate the opportunity to come in and give you guys a little bit of update. First, you know, we got our SOP annual meeting coming up. You may have seen us save the date on that.
August 13th.
August 13th.
Yep.
There's going to be more deliberate invitations coming out here shortly. We figure out what themes we want it to be, and we've got our senators, our governor, and you know, we think we've got the Secretary of the Army invited, but we don't know for sure yet. So we'll wait to talk about that when we get a little more confidence in whether or not that invitation's been delivered and if any likelihood. But probably have another couple hundred folks there, and look forward to a good meeting. The Fort Leonard Wood Community Partnership meeting that we have quarterly is coming up on the 25th of June. I think you all may have seen it. I don't think I have your email address, so I'll have to get that from you, make sure you're included and everything.
Okay.
But that community partnership that we have between, that's chaired between myself and the Garrison Commanders on the 25th of June. I'll make sure you guys are tracking that.
Yeah, I know that's one of those meetings that one of y'all could come. It is a really worthwhile meeting because you get to see what partnerships are going on between Fort Leonard Wood and the community. It is a really it's a really productive.
That's where the roads originally come across that they turned down
And
I brought to it.
that one's being moved Art or fine arts,
It
right?
is.
Yeah.
Those are the high school, air conditioning stuff they're doing at the high school. Yeah.
But yeah, that's one of those meetings that you get to sit down with the garrison commander and talk to long range, short range. It's a really productive meeting. So, yeah.
They gonna mow the grass out there, finally?
Yeah, we're working on a deal with that, but it's hung up. The problem with the grass cutting is because you can't displace government employees with any other kind of agreement, a contract or an intergovernmental. So that's up at Department of Army level, and we hope they'll get they're
Those
gonna
were
pursue
dragged
it.
last I heard.
Yeah, it's a big lawyers up there.
So I was gonna post, I need 100 people to ride lawnmowers to go out there. I was gonna post it the other night, but since 1962, I've been out there. It was always the most pristine, beautiful piece of property you ever drive through. No matter where you went on Fort Leonard Wood, it was done. It was spotless. I was just in shock, so I started driving even through the neighborhoods out there. What the housing looked like in front, not the houses themselves. I'm talking about the way the people kept it. Years ago, they'd write you, the MPs would drive by and write you a ticket, or they would go to your commander. I guess they don't do that anymore, but it was horrible. I was just in shock.
Speaking of housing, we helped MRPC get that DOD grant that in part was doing a regional housing study, and they had a kickoff meeting for that just recently. So we're staying involved with that, make sure that all the right people are participating in it. It's a useful study in the end. So I think that's a good thing. But we'll see kind of how it turns out. The tabletop exercise was part of that grant too, that emergency response tabletop exercise that's going to happen here in the middle of the month, where there'll be some scenarios that MRPC is leading it, but Pulaski County.
We hold them here once a year.
Yeah.
We hold our own. But,
I think this might be the first one that's been done with
it's the
Fort Leonard.
first one that's been done with Fort Leonard.
Right. So we're looking
Normally it's all of us in the community get together,
Mhm.
and they'll throw up a scenario, something happening.
Yep.
And it goes from that. Yeah, but this is the first one to include Fort Leonard.
Yeah, the Army's really participating pretty well, and we look forward to be a good exercise, be a lot of stuff learned. The emergency management guys are already, just by virtue of the meetings that I've been attending, you can see Fort Leonard Wood and Hector and his group starting to learn things already that they can be doing to shore up their communication just in the planning of the exercise. So both mayors will be there. We want to make sure that you all were invited, and I think it's really going to be a good exercise. Again, it's something we've not seen before.
See, the last time they got to work together, when we looked at the soldier.
Right.
That's
That's when I got Fort Leonard Fire a blown up map the size of this table, so they can keep it at their station. Take their map. Yeah, they've had something, and I even looked the ones for them going through Fort Leonard Wood, but they didn't have.
Yeah, that's good. Recruiting, you see in the news that the Army recruiting is up, and they've met their goal early. That's good for us. When recruiting's up, that's good business for training installation like ours. And we're also, we've been concerned about Army end strength and whether or not the president's budget was going to allow for the size of the Army that folks think we need. But we weren't confident in that, but we're starting to get a little different feel for that. So we won't know for sure until the president's budget is completely revealed as how many soldiers that they'll, be willing to pay the bill for. And we don't need the Army to get any smaller, right? So we need the Army to.
I heard his focus was gonna be on the Navy and the Air Force. I didn't know.
Yeah, that's kind of the Indo-Pacific threat, the everything in China, and some of the policy folks in the Pentagon have viewed the Army as less relevant in that type of conflict than the Navy and the Air Force. But still, the Army has a lot of other things to do, to deter things, to respond to other places, to hold ground in the Indo-Pacific. So the Army's not irrelevant. It needs to be a
Somebody's
robust.
got to go in.
Yeah, boots on the ground always.
The Marines and the Army got to move.
So, there's some money being spent on Fort Leonard Wood thanks to Senator Hawley related to some improvements in housing out there. And he's pushing for more money to do more replacement homes, 1-for-1 on Fort Leonard Wood, which is good for everybody, improves quality of life on the installation. We know that probably only about 25-30% of folks live on post. The other 75 live off post. And so investing in housing on Fort Leonard Wood is good for the military value of the installation. And there's also some investments in barracks, over $100 million in barracks. A project will start later this summer. So the Army Community Partnership, I sent you guys an email on that. We had this partnership award back in 2017. We earned it again in 2025. We went to the Pentagon. It was bestowed on us. The Army at Fort Leonard Wood didn't attend the ceremony because of travel restrictions, so they're going to have a local ceremony on the 13th of June where the two cities of Waynesville and St. Robert, Fort Leonard Wood, will talk about the partnership that they've been recognized for. So we look forward to that.
Is it, if I read that right, we can get on without a pass?
Because it's deemed by the commanders a special event. It'd be kind of like a 4th of July thing when they open it up to the public and they say, I'm here for the 4th of July event. In this case, it's if you're here for the partnership award ceremony, then yeah. Intergovernmental support agreements, like I said, you were talking about the grass cutting. We're trying to get one of those agreements going, but we've been trying it for years, and it's held up at the Army level. When we were in the Pentagon, we talked to the Army leadership about it, and they're going to pursue an exception of policy to let that type of agreement take place here locally so that we can resolve that problem. And we've got some pretty good intergovernmental support agreements going right now. The city of St. Robert is doing all the trash collection on the installation. The Co-USA is doing all the fire extinguisher maintenance on the installation. So we've been trying for years to get Fort Leonard Wood to have confidence in our communities and our communities' ability to do those things. They do part of the water privatization effort on Fort Leonard.
I don't think it's just the water privatization.
Yep.
Who's doing the sewer?
I don't think it's Co-USA.
I think it's Co-USA.
You think it is?
I think so, because, we have guys.
The water is done by American Water.
American Water.
Yeah.
But the sewer is done by Co-USA.
Yeah, that is right.
That's the sewer district lanes with the.
Because they're
ground
that's right,
water.
that's right. Yes.
So as the Army see these intergovernmental support agreements being successful, their appetite is growing, reaching out. And I've sent you all some communication. They wanted to talk about one related to court recordings, but I think that position is not funded by you all. That's a state position, right? For the court recorder. So we'll take that conversation up to Michelle and talk a little bit about that. It wouldn't be a huge savings, but it is an agreement that would be mutually beneficial, and so we hope to pursue that. But the hospital situation continues to persist. We've been on the list, we've been off the list, and as it stands right now, we're off the list and up for downsizing. But it's something that we've had to continue to pay attention to because it's not going to go away. It's not going to go away. I mean, the healthcare challenges that are, as far as staffing and manning across the country are the same ones that the Department of Defense, the same kinds that the Department of Defense is experiencing challenges with. And we're just going to have to keep fighting. The good thing for us is our congressional delegation has been very assertive in helping defend the hospital. So those are kind of
The
the
local
highlights.
hospitals aren't having trouble finding help.
Right. So we'll see kind of where that goes, but it's something that's on the top of our list to continue to pay attention to. Yeah. So those are some of the highlights of things I just wanted to update you all, ask if you have any questions. And of course, we always encourage you to participate in meetings when you can, and keep you informed. And we're always just kind of a phone call or an email or a text message away. Any questions about anything?
Okay.
Texting Kehoe and telling them about that grassy deal.
Speaking of governor, he weighed in on. He's weighed
Does
in
he?
very well on the hospital.
Send him a text.
On the hospital.
Yeah. Governor Gill was very supportive.
Like,
Very,
send him
very
a text and tell him my thoughts on
On the hospital kind of thing.
on the grass.
No,
That grass got me bothered bad.
I think we got bigger fish to fry than the grass, but we are working.
You tell me who to call, because that got me bothered. I mean, you go out there since I was raised out there. Three
Yeah.
I say that.
I don't think any of us feel any
And
different.
the soldiers have kept that thing so beautiful over the years.
Yeah,
Just
it's
heartbreaking.
Yeah, it's a different thing, and it frustrates Fort Leonard Wood as well. but that's kind of what we're here for, to help them push through that bureaucracy, and we've got great relationships in the Pentagon, and we're helping. We're not going to give up until we get it done.
You're gonna need a hay baler.
Well, it rains every day.
That's right.
Wait till August.
I'm ready.
Oh, you can bail it now.
Well, and what they've, for many years, they've only been able to cut 25% of the requirement.
Yeah.
So
Let's go back to what the song.
lots of bureaucracy involved in.
That's where they got their team money.
Guys, thank you for your time, and,
Same thing as everything the commission can do, you know, letters of support or anything like that, just, you know.
Yeah, well, we appreciate that.
We're always willing.
Yeah.
We don't know what we can do until somebody comes and asks us, you know, or what we can, you know.
we certainly appreciate your sponsorship and level that you participate, and we know we can always count on you guys, and we appreciate that.
And the things that I think that you all should know about, participate if you can. I'll always make sure that I'm pointing those things out to you. It's up to you whether or not, but you know, if you get a reminder from me, it's just something that's kind of registering with us. And if you can't make it, but you know, we're always there. We're going to be tracking, and if there's anything that comes out of something that you can't participate in, we're going to get back to you and let you know what's going on.
Well, we appreciate you.
Thank you. Thanks, guys.
See you.
Hello, we got Mac on here.
I haven't seen.
You already got me? Daryl, was you not here Monday?
Did you get any, stuff back in, Matt?
What is the date today? Fifth. Today or tomorrow, next day. It used to be the 9th, then it started coming quicker. They're getting thicker. Real thick. Must be done where I went in. On the wiring. There we go. Playing skeet ball. Years old, if I'm not mistaken, it was back quarter. She could never find that quarter. You remember that? She couldn't find that quarter. It had to be something, a check that was sent for something stupid, but never could find the quarter. She's right off.
Jim, I'm not on the agenda for this, but I would like to brief you on it so we can put it on the agenda for Monday. In the meantime, I want to talk to you about my civil processing down at the sheriff's office. And the bottom line, I'm trying to do everything I can to save money, to find ways to get things for free, trying to get ways to get things for good for the best price possible, the biggest bang for the buck, and things like that. And to be more efficient with our manpower, our time, because I don't have the deputies, I don't have the manpower. Obviously, we're a large county, and we're just like every other department. But I want to talk to you about civil processing, because the civil processing is where we get a lot of our money. Well, the process that Pam goes through right now, and I know y'all don't see it, but the process that Pam goes through now is redundancy out the ass. I mean, it is, she is doing a bill here, a bill here, a spreadsheet here, a spreadsheet here, going back to this receipt book, to this receipt book. It's all handwritten. It takes time a lot of time to reconcile from the grants, or not the grants, but from the, what?
Are you making them pay you up front and no mileage on the back end? Or you
Yes, they pay up front, and then we send them a check for whatever we don't use. Reimbursement. This is for the Tyler system that they've come and they've given us a demonstration on it last month. But here's the proposal, and I'll let Pam talk to some of the process that Pam's got to go through, and it's time consuming. Another part of this is it comes with an app. When my deputies are out there serving papers, they put it in their app, and it automatically updates the computer that Pam's working on. It's all web-based, which is not waiting on the papers to get back. We still need the papers to come back, but waiting on the papers to come back. But as the deputies serve these papers, and there are a stack of papers that the deputy serves, all the way up until 9 o'clock at night. Each shift, they're serving 15, 20, 30 papers, trying to get them through. But then, as they serve them, even though Pam's not there, it will update the system, and it will update this, it was served, and it'll put the numbers in, it'll calculate the mileage. It does this automatically. And instead of coming back, getting hand, reading it, and putting it in, and putting it in the computer, things like that. So, bottom line is to get the system, and I showed you the bill is on there. But one way, it's going to be a cost. But one way I want to figure this out is if we use our civil process and we go, we make about $50,000. $50,000 a year for civil processes. I mean, it takes time to add up. But if the commission would agree to pay for this, we would take it out of our civil to reimburse the commission for getting us started with this, because it's only $6,000 a year to maintain. The startup is the cost. But I'm not here asking you for money and forget about it. If you would help me invest in this to get our civil processes up to date in a more efficient manner in a system like this, because you all use Tyler up here. I think everybody up here uses Tyler. We don't use Tyler. And there's no way to connect into Tyler from here. But it would make our deposits automatic from Pam. Our deposits get deposited in the bank instead of walking up with checks. It simplifies a lot of stuff that would help us get money into the bank quicker than every month is dictated by the state statute. That's what we're going by now, because it takes that to reconcile the books all the way up until, that's why they want money up in our account, and so we can pay bills and things like that. But it takes that long to get everything reconciled, to get the numbers matching, then to be able to deposit the checks. So I think with this service, and Cam, she knows Pam's process. I'd like you to brief them on the process that Pam goes through. And I mean, it's a pain in the butt.
I can tell you, in a week, she can get anywhere from 30 to 100 different paperwork just to input. And each paperwork takes about 15 to 20 minutes per paper, because she has to log it in her Excel spreadsheet. She has to write a receipt Each one has its own specific receipt. She has to write handwritten and type it into our QuickBooks. And then once then it gets to the deputies to be served. Then when she gets it back, she has to go back through it, type it all back into the computer, handwrite a receipt, input it through the Excel spreadsheet, and then get it into the mail. So it can take her per paper at least an hour and a half per paper from start to finish.
Garnishments, we have 3 days. 3 days. Those are the priority when we get them in with garnishments, because of the process Pam has to go through. So what I want to propose and table it and bring it back on Monday is if you would start this up, we would pay this money back to our,
So you guys know the law says anything over $50,000 in civil, the civil fees goes to the county anyways. So it's been, several years since we've gotten to 50,000. And I think it was pre-COVID, because that was back when all the paperwork. Right. So, but if we could get back this program, it would give us more time to input more papers, which would show the attorneys and stuff that we're getting them out there faster, which we would make more money in the end, and it would go into general
A lot
revenue.
of attorneys would be sending them out to someone else.
Which is another thing,
Use the sheriff's service civil paper and then 15 years.
Right. Which this is another thing where they can do it online. They can also submit those paperwork online through this system. They can pay for it online too. So it's not like they would have to come down and physically give you the paperwork. We could print it all off from this system.
I was doing civil work for years beforehand. The reason I will tell you, the hope is you get these people to do it. The reason I use the private process server is because if I go hire a private process server and I go get this girl now, she's at work at blah, blah, blah. My private process server is doing it now. And I know the sheriff's department historically just can't do that because of staffing and deputies being on the calls and everything.
I know the
So,
deputies have a
most of the
man.
ones you guys are serving are like these debt collection agencies and these people that come from the big law firms, right?
We have had a few that we've had to go, like,
with a lawyer, but he needed to serve like tomorrow, and my deputy went out and served her that day. So their situation will dictate on that stuff, but I mean, if it needs to be done now, we will do it, because we'll just jump back into the train and
And I know the
do
sheriff
the
is
rest.
also mandated all the deputies to need a certain type of quote on those paperwork. So we serve, 2 hours at least, every shift has to serve at least 2 hours, every deputy has to serve at least 2 hours worth of paperwork per shift.
we don't have a dedicated paper server like we used to. It's the deputies, and then Echoberry, our transport, when he's not transporting, he'll serve papers. Echoberry does the hard ones, like he does the ones on post, and the immediate ones need to be done now. Yeah, well, we didn't have no problem serving the one we had to at the defect. That was the big one that.
He used to call them all on Thursday morning, line them up, he was just walking
That's,
down.
that's if we can get the paperwork before Thursday morning. So,
But
There's nothing like that. There's nothing like that.
well, we still have go-up on Thursdays. I think Echoberry makes plans with, I'm not sure who's possible there.
They didn't. If they did, I don't know who it is. I haven't been in contact with them. We have no point of contact. Treasurer Long was supposed to find us the point of
I
contact.
know, I had that discussion with the two, so Montana left, when it was popular, really, these are all posted, since then, it's not been there.
So we've been working with Tyler, and Tyler has got it down to, I mean, it started out at 50-some thousand, actually 70-some thousand, then 60-some thousand. And we've got it down to just what Pam needs. I tried to get rid of the training, but they insist on the training because they want somebody to come here and walk her through, I think, for a month or two.
It'll be me.
Because
Yeah, you would.
They're inputting everything in the system. They're helping her build the system type things.
So anything that I can do to be more efficient and be more timely with this stuff, because the paperwork will bite us in the ass in the long run. We screw up the paperwork and, you know, we're impacting court cases, we're impacting attorneys, we're impacting a lot of people, which comes with lawsuits. So luckily, I mean, it's just, the deputy, like I said, they go out there, they serve the paper, they put it in their phone and the app, and it uploads to Anna's computer, and then she can take it from there. The way we do Tiger Commissary is kind of the way this is set up, because Tiger Commissary takes Pam about, what, 30 minutes, if that? That's the easiest one.
Check road, everything, 30 minutes.
This will send the receipts, it will print the receipts, it will do everything that Pam needs, based on what we went through with their demonstration, to show us how it's gonna benefit. And we've taken out, it's bare bones to the minimum of what Pam would need to be more efficient and to get this stuff out and get our deposits in, more than once a month. So we can come up with a plan, if y'all think we can come up with a plan on how to, to pay this money back to our civil processes. And then we would accept the liability of the $6,000 yearly maintenance. If I can find some way to tie this in the opioid committee, I'm sure the opioid would fund it for me.
Civil process.
That was a large joke.
What do we have in civil process?
He felt not to. Well, you did too.
Revenue. So far, he's brought in 10,000.
I thought we could have seen it.
Yeah, that's my big concern on it is you want to try to pay it back out of civil fees. Then the things you're currently paying out of civil, what are you planning to pay, where are you planning to pay those?
Well, once we get our budget correct the way it should be, and I'm not paying my electric out of my inmate security fund, which is where a lot of that stuff that comes out of civil should be being paid, or could be paid, would make a huge difference, because right now, I gotta sell food to the inmates just to freaking make money to pay my electric bill. So that, I mean, if we can get the process down to be able to make more money in that civil fund, in that civil fee, to be quicker and more time, then we don't know yet because we're not on the system. And if we go, if you give me 2 years with it, 3, well, if you're gonna pay that much, I need more, but there's gonna have to be you're gonna have to give me a chance to see how this goes, to see if it's any better. Which I don't.
I do believe Camden County uses, I'm not really, don't quote me on the counties, because I
I don't-
heard back there are, but I
How do you
haven't.
find out who does?
Yeah.
And that way we can kind of let the commissioners know
Yeah,
how they're getting on.
yeah, I don't, I wasn't in there for the whole session, because that was Pam and Kim that were going through that training and through that, so I don't remember even asking that question unless you all did, but
I know, Highway Patrol uses Tyler for something different. It's not for civil processing, but I do believe it's like for CAD and stuff like that. So, they're
We
all,
use Tyler here.
yeah, there's all different processes.
There's some things that they're very good at, and there's some things that they need a lot of work on.
and I asked that question too, to make, I mean, if the county's already running on Tyler, why couldn't we add that to Tyler and then pay that? But it doesn't work like
What
that.
you're doing is you're buying a separate module.
Yeah.
That's like, we're wanting to get a time and attendance program, and Tyler has one. Well, it's a totally separate module. It will integrate with the rest of the system, but there again, they sell it as a totally separate module.
Well, I will find out where they're using this at and get somebody to give me a write-up on if it's working for them and if it's,
Yeah, if we could get information.
and then I'll bring it back Monday.
See if in the first year or second year it increase their income, because now the local attorneys are seeing it's being processed faster and maybe, something like, just to see if there's been a gain in.
Well, why I brought that up earlier on private attorney wasn't because of you or your administration. Obviously, I wasn't serving civil papers since you've been sheriff, but in the past, it was always a lot easier to get a private process over. And at some points in time, I don't think it's true anymore, it was actually cheaper for us to go out and hire private process servers. Their costs have increased like everything else over the last several years, whereas yours have not. Well, your cost has, but they're minimum. So, that was kind of part of
No,
it.
you're right, I've historically had stacks of papers like that because nobody, nobody was serving.
Well, in the past, before your time, it was not easy to get sheriff certifications, historically. And I started practicing 15 years ago. I got used to using the private process server, and the last two administrations were looking at the question and say, well, maybe I should send this one down to the sheriff, and we don't use like that. And that's kind of the adage. That's what I was putting out.
I get you.
Not that, so changing that culture is embedded, because like I said, I didn't try to put the last guy, I didn't try with the guy before that, because I was already ingrained in, I'm choosing my private thing.
It's just if you were to see this lady do this, it's
And it consumes for her. She could have more time to do other things.
because the auditors put an added step on there, an added receipt from whatever audit that was that now she got to do.
Audit 2 years ago, and they required her to do an extra step.
It was with the receipt.
And they must not issue receipts.
No, she has to handwrite every receipt.
She got receipt books that she goes, yeah, then she keeps them on file.
Not for this, not for the whole process.
I was just asking because you said it has to be entered into quickly.
She does an invoice, but not a receipt. Like she does handwritten receipts for everything. And it was a state audit.
Dave, you can have that copy.
It's front and back too. I don't think we actually.
Oh, shit, I didn't get, I'm sorry. Excuse me. I don't know which Facebook. I'm sorry.
And it specifies the RSO on the 50,000.
Oh.
I apologize. I thought the printer didn't come back when I printed them out. See, I'm trying to save papers. Let me print you all out a copy of that.
Which one?
You can check it, and then they're gonna make a copy for everybody.
What do you want? Oh. I was looking at the other. I look at the one the people want money. That's the one I look at.
Like I said, we dropped it down. I mean, we told them we don't need that, we don't need that, we don't need that.
38, you know what it was?
36. 6,000.
Do you guys use that for your account?
Well, I'm reading over here, contract total 4240.
38,240, I think, the startup fee.
They're paying, they're gonna pay.
Is
They're
what,
gonna come out of something else.
yes. This is initial startup.
They're asking us for it.
36.
Yeah.
Another back page. To this.
What's your average monthly total of, station?
I guess, everything, depends like, either we going, I guess, they can say,
Collaborative action?
yeah, or I get the guys that are mad that, that credit to me and we're there so much,
Oh, yes, exactly. Oh, yes, no,
Can I get a pay rate change form? Please.
We'll find out, if Tyler who's using that and make some calls to the sheriff's offices or police departments, whoever's using, and then, I'll bring that back Monday.
Well, just more efficient too, and I'm not saying anybody does anything wrong, but the more efficient, the more pay is. Not one slips through the crack or not
Well,
one
that,
gets.
and then it reconciles your body,
Right.
the monies for you. She's not gonna have to physically go in there and add all the mileage, times that by.
She reconciles by hand.
All of that. And then she's got to balance the books. This does it all for her. I mean, it's less process for her to have to work on.
And it will be once Cam retires, which Kim will be taking that over as well, so she'll have.
And I'll tell you, if she retires and we don't have this system, you will have to hire another person to do civil process, because I won't be able to do all of it, including my job.
Thank you.
So, that just tells you anything, because this is a full-time position in itself, right now. And I refuse to do it.
And, you know, if you ever want to stop down and see the process, gentlemen, I gotta talk to you. I'm gonna make that easy to run.
What are you talking about?
Oh, she was doing
Yeah, my budget report this month, does somebody drop off the sheriff's office? To my mailbox? Is it? I don't know. Sounds like it's just somebody else's job.
You need more to do, I can train you. Sure. I'll go clean that out this afternoon and I will go knock on that individual's door.
I cleaned it out, but it's will cause problems if I do.
I'll take
He's
care of
followed,
it.
he's followed the law on him before for cleaning it up.
You can go, but I said, my plan is to have it back in my truck and ask him where he wants me to put it.
There's the plow like right there. Where would you like me to deposit your stuff?
Isn't this your stuff and it's in my culvert?
He's not very good along with that. But it's like all the other practices, got all that. You go down there and you just turn that up back 3 months, let it all polish, it's all washed.
Mm-hmm. I got the same problem. No,
It is aggravating. It's personal.
but I'll get to it this afternoon.
Probably that deep.
Mm-hmm. I'll get it. I hate to tell you time, but I'll,
You want me to do it?
huh?
You know, some things get done by accident, but when people constantly do it on purpose, I got a problem with that. Accidents happen, people don't think, you know,
If I have difficulties, I'll call